Secretary Mayorkas joins us now. So, Mr. Secretary, we're a couple of days from the expiration of Title 42. What's your assessment of the situation at the border? It looks like the surge that you and many others had anticipated hasn't quite happened yet.
John, good morning. In fact, over the past 2 days, the United States Border Patrol has seen an approximately 50% drop in the number of people encountered at our southern border as compared to the numbers earlier this week before Title 42 came to an end midnight on Thursday.
So why is that?
John, we have been preparing for this transition for months and months, and we've been executing on our plan accordingly. And our plan is very straightforward. There is a safe, lawful, and orderly way to reach the United States and seek humanitarian relief, and that is through the lawful pathways that we have expanded under President Biden's leadership. And then there is a dangerous way to arrive at our southern border in the hands of ruthless smugglers. We have to incentivize the use of the lawful pathways and disincentivize placing people's lives in the hands of smugglers, and we are doing that.
So you've said that you're going to impose penalties on those who cross the border illegally. How are you doing that, and is that happening yet?
It certainly is. As a matter of fact, we've already removed thousands of people who have arrived at our southern border. We are enforcing our traditional immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code. And we've also issued a rule that provides that if one arrives at the southern border without either accessing the lawful pathways we've made available to them or seeking relief in one of the countries through which they have traveled, then they will have a higher threshold to meet to make a successful asylum claim.
Well, you've said that they're going to be penalized. There'll be a 5-year ban for many of applying for asylum again.
That is what the law provides.
They could face criminal prosecution. Are we seeing that yet? I mean, have you imposed any of these 5-year bans yet? Have you started any criminal prosecution of those across illegally? Well,
no. So the sequence is as follows. We have already removed thousands of people. If they try again, then they are met with the 5-year ban and potential criminal prosecution.
Now, as you know, over the week, just late yesterday, we saw a Florida judge knock down your policy of releasing some of these migrants due to overcrowding without a court date, a court date to reappear. Are you complying with that ruling?
We are. We have an obligation to comply with that ruling. We respectfully disagree with the judge. We think it's a very harmful ruling. When, in fact, our Border Patrol stations become overcrowded, it is a matter of the safety and security of people, including our own personnel, not just the vulnerable migrants, to be able to release them. And this is something that administration after administration has done.
Do you have numbers? I mean, how many have been released without a mandated court date?
So we released a number because of the surge that we experienced before Title 42 came to an end. Now, with the 50% drop in the number of encounters at our southern border, we are executing our consequence regime exactly as planned.
Now, you said you respectfully disagree with the judge. The White House accused him of sabotaging your efforts to control the border. That was something we heard from the press secretary. He responded to that in his ruling quite harshly. This is Judge T. Kent Weatherall took issue with that characterization. And he said, quote, "This ignorant and dangerous rhetoric ignores the fact that the evidence presented in this case shows that the chaos that the president acknowledged has been going on at the southern border for a number of years is largely a problem of the defendants, the administration's own making. If it is sabotage for a federal court to tell the federal government it must comply with the law, then so be it." So what do you say to Judge Weatherall?
We respectfully disagree with the judge's interpretation of the law, his characterization of our actions, and we intend to litigate the matter, and I defer to the Department of Justice in that regard.
Well, you're also, of course, getting hit from the other side, those that are saying that you're being too harsh on the border, requiring that migrants seek asylum in a third country first, these penalties for those who cross illegally. The ACLU is suing to challenge that. And I want to read what one of the lead lawyers for the ACLU said. The Biden administration's new ban places vulnerable asylum seekers in grave danger and violates U.S. asylum laws. We've been down this road before with Trump. The asylum bans were cruel and illegal then, and nothing has changed now. So they're saying that this is effectively Trump policy.
Absolutely incorrect. Disagree with every aspect of that statement. This is not an asylum ban. We have a humanitarian obligation as well as a matter of security to cut the ruthless smugglers out. That is a responsibility of government, and we are doing that. And it is not, and John, it is not a ban at all.
Well, in one critical sense, it is the same as the Trump policy, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, the Trump policy was that you had to first apply for asylum in another country if you were coming from south of Mexico. That's exactly what you're doing.
No, that is not.
Explain.
Actually. Yes. So first of all, President Biden has led the greatest expansion of lawful pathways ever. What our rule provides is that an individual must access those lawful pathways that we have made available to them. If they have not, then they must have sought relief in one of the countries through which they have traveled and been denied. And if they haven't done either, it's not a ban on asylum, but they have a higher threshold of proof that they have to meet. That is a presumption of ineligibility that can be overcome. It is not a ban. And so I disagree with that in every regard.
So I also want to ask you that it was back in 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, that the president put Vice President Kamala Harris in playing a critical role in terms of trying to stop the flow of migrants across the border. Where has Vice President Harris been on this? Are you in regular contact with her? When was the last time you spoke to her?
Vice President Harris reached out to me earlier this week. That effort is a years-long effort, and Vice President Harris has led the investment of more than $3 billion in the Northern Triangle countries of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador.
So, I mean, it's years long, but it's already been going on. I mean, she was more than 2 years ago, she got this responsibility.
Absolutely. You know, that effort began in the Obama-Biden administration. It was terribly taken down during the Trump administration, and Vice President Harris has led an extraordinary effort to address the root causes of why people flee their homes in the first instance. Okay. Violence, poverty, corruption, authoritarian regimes, extreme weather events, persecution, and the like.
All right, Secretary Mayorkas, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, John.